Hello, beautiful hedgehogs, and welcome to our how-to video today. It is all about Google Tag Manager and getting it onto your website to make it easier to implement all sorts of other tracking tools that will better your business analytics. So I have jumped the gun and already started as we should start. So to find Google Tag Manager, you can literally just Google Tag Manager. It will be the first option given it is a Google driven product. So we are going to click on that and we are going to go through to Google Tag Manager. So you can see here I have access to a few tag managers already. So I'm going to assume you have never used it before, and I'm going to draw your attention to this button on the top right called Create Account. So we're going to go through that process just so you can see how that works. But I'm actually going to do a demonstration with one of the other existing ones that I have here. So to create an account, you press this button. Then you have to name a bunch of things. So the account name, for the purpose of this, is I'm just going to call it test. I am in Australia, so I'm going to click on this drop down and click on Australia. I'm going to allow sharing data anonymously with Google. This just helps them in their development of all tech for Google. And then the container setup. So again, you can name it the same thing as the account. You can call it test. And then you can see there's a few different options in terms of target platform. So I'm going to assume 9 times out of 10, you will be setting this up for a website. So you will select web. However, if it happens to be for one of the other reasons, so you're creating an ISO app for an Apple phone, you're creating an Android app and you want to track that, you're using accelerated mobile pages, or you're wanting to do server side. So these 4 are all a little bit more complicated. So we are going to focus on web today, as web is the main name of the game. So I'm going to click on this and you're going to see that the create button down here has gone blue, and we're going to click on that. Then, as always, Google's terms and service. So I encourage you to read these, but I'm just going to click yes and just sign my life away to Google. So then what will happen is it will create that account and it will create that container, and then it will spit you to this page, and this pop-up will come up. So this pop-up is our kind of key to implementation. So I know what you're thinking, Teddy, this is code, this is scary, this is hard. I promise you, I am going to hold your hand. It is not going to be scary. It is not going to be hard. So I'm going to run through a couple of different website platforms for you with the live demonstration for WordPress, which is one of the most common CMSs that's used today. So these 2 bits of code are essential. So you can see here, the first one is to go as high as possible in the head of the code. And then the next set is to go immediately after opening of body. And I know what you're thinking. Again, Teddy, that sounds just too hard. I promise you it is not. So jumping into a tab that I prepared earlier, I have gone ahead and I've gone to the admin section of the website I'm going to demo this with. So you can see here, mechanicmarketing.co/WP admin. So that should be what your admin portal looks like if you have a WordPress website. So we use Elementor. So if you use Elementor and you pay for Pro, no plugins are needed and you can do it within the Elementor system. So I've jumped in here, Elementor and custom code, and you can see here I've already got the GTMs set up. So GTM head, which is the first code that we saw in Tag Manager, and then GTM body, which is the second set. So I'm going to quickly jump in here and I'm going to show you what that looks like. So here, I've clicked the location as head. So then you can see here as well, it gives you the other options, body start and body end. So the second piece of code is body start. So that's what I've selected there. Now, if you're not using Elementor, that is totally fine. What we can do is jump into plugins. And then we are going to want to search for a plugin. Please ignore all the scary warnings in my WordPress. You can see that I'm not great on updating our plugins. And you want to search for WP code. So this is one of the best, if not the best, code insertion plugins that WordPress has to offer. So it should be this very first one that pops up by Syed Balki, and I've totally butchered his name and I apologize, but he is a wizard in terms of plugins. So I'm going to install that just so you guys can see what it looks like from this perspective, but I'm not going to save anything that I do in here. So once it's installed, you know the drill, you've got to then activate it as well. So once that is done, we can jump into what that looks like. So then it will pop up over here in the left-hand menu as code snippets. So I'm going to click on it just to take you right into there. So you can see that you can just add a new snippet, much like in Elementor. However, the cool thing about this plugin is there also is the option just to do header and footer. So I love this for this particular type of implementation, and also for Google Analytics if you didn't want to do it through Google Tag Manager and a whole host of other things. So you can see here that it's split between header, body, and footer, so you don't even have to think about what that looks like. So jumping back here, this is what goes in header. So I'm going to copy it and I'm going to paste it. And then this one is what goes into body. And I'm going to copy it and I'm going to paste it. And then I know I said I wasn't going to save it, but I'm going to save it just so you guys can see what happens. So I'm going to hit save over here. And then what I encourage you to do is go through the testing process in Google Tag Manager. So you can see here, test your website. It is optional, but what you just need to do is copy and paste your URL and you hit test. And then hopefully, because we've done it 100% correctly, you are going to see a green tick. Okay, cool. So this happens sometimes. There's sometimes a delay between implementation and it being picked up. And also because I am putting an extra tag manager on there, it is getting a little bit mad. So you should not have this happen. It should absolutely just go green for you, and that should absolutely be no issue at all. But I have put too many containers on my website and it has said no. So if it continues just to wig out, just give it an hour and then come back and test it again. So that is WordPress. So I will obviously, that's the live demonstration for you. So in terms of other major platforms, Wix, there's an automatic integration. So you just go into settings, advanced and marketing integrations. All you need to do is enter this GTM code up here and hit save, and Wix will be linked to your Google Tag Manager. Very similarly with Squarespace. So it is set up almost identically to this code snippet plugin in WordPress. And you go into settings, advanced and code injection, and then there will be similar sections. So on Squarespace, it's just header and footer. So header will obviously be the first set of code, and then footer will be the second set of code. Then if you have a Shopify store, that's when it gets a little bit more complicated. It depends how comfortable you are with jumping into your liquid scripting in Shopify. So look, it seems scary, but I promise you the worst thing that can happen is, as long as you don't delete any code, is that you might accidentally put it in the wrong place and it won't register. But yes, just keeping in mind you don't delete anything, all should be well. So in terms of Shopify, you just edit your theme.liquid and then you find where the head and the body is. So for Shopify, I hope that you have a developer that can help you, because that obviously is a little bit harder. But if not, Google is your absolute best friend. So Google Shopify, Google Tag Manager implementation, and it should be able to give you a step-by-step guide of that. So that is as hard as Google Tag Manager is. Look at you, you survived doing that with me. And then this will just make it infinitely easier to implement a whole host of things, including Google Analytics if you should wish. So good luck, and reach out if you have any questions.